All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a company that hasn't just participated in the beauty industry, but has pretty much defined it for more than 100 years. This is the story of L'Oréal, a tale of science, sharp strategy, and just this relentless drive to get bigger and bigger.
So, just to wrap your head around the scale we're dealing with, look at this number. That's L'Oréal's recent annual revenue. We're talking more than 1.5 times its closest competitor. You know, they aren't just in the market. In a lot of ways, they are the market. But it definitely wasn't always like this.
And this is the part that's just wild to me. This global giant, this 43 billion euro machine, it all started with a 26-year-old chemist mixing up formulas in his tiny 2-room apartment. So the question is, how on earth do you get from a stovetop experiment to complete global dominance?
Well, it really all boils down to the founder, Eugène Choulier. And these 2 pillars he set up from day one. And these weren't just business ideas, you know? They became the company's actual DNA. Groundbreaking science paired with absolutely brilliant marketing.
This right here was the spark. See, back in 1907, hair dyes were honestly pretty dangerous. They used harsh chemicals that could literally burn your scalp. Choulier solved a huge problem. He created ORÉAL, the very first safe, synthetic hair dye. He didn't just invent another product, he invented a solution that hairdressers and their clients were desperate for.
And he didn't stop there, not by a long shot. This timeline just shows you that Choulier wasn't thinking about just improving stuff that already existed. No, he was creating entirely new categories. A soap-free shampoo? A sunscreen with a UV filter? I mean, these were totally radical ideas back then that created new habits for consumers and really cemented L'Oréal as an innovation powerhouse right from the start.
But you know, innovation by itself doesn't build an empire. The next chapter in L'Oréal's story is all about the strategy, the architecture that turned these scientific breakthroughs into total market dominance. This is where they really built the machine.
This quote, this was a massive cultural shift. Before 1973, beauty ads basically told women to buy products to look good for men. This line, written by a 23-year-old copywriter, completely flipped the script. It was the first time an ad was centered on a woman's own voice, her own self-worth. It was revolutionary, and it turned into one of the most powerful taglines in history.
And this table right here, this shows their genius-level market strategy. L'Oréal basically built a portfolio so they can compete everywhere, with everyone, all at the same time. You need a $5 mascara at the drugstore? They've got Maybelline for you. Looking for a luxury serum at a fancy department store? Here's some Lancôme. Professional stuff for your stylist? Kerastase. And skincare recommended by a dermatologist? La Roche-Posay. It's a structure that means they capture you at every stage of your life and at every single price point.
So here's the key. They didn't build all of this from scratch. They absolutely perfected the art of the strategic acquisition. Every purchase wasn't random. It was like a key that unlocked a totally new market. Maybelline gave them the US mass market. La Roche-Posay gave them instant credibility with dermatologists. And CeraVe, well, we're about to get to that one.
Okay, so that brings us to the modern era. L'Oréal's dominance today isn't just because of its history. It's about 2 huge pivots that have kept them way ahead of everybody else. The big move into dermatologist-led beauty and their transformation into a tech company.
The CeraVe acquisition is it's a masterclass. They spotted this small brand that had immense scientific credibility. They bought it, plugged it into their massive global distribution and marketing machine, and in just a few short years, they turned a niche product into the #1 skincare brand on the entire planet. It was an absolute masterstroke.
At the very same time, they were completely reinventing what a beauty company even is. They're not just sewing lipstick on a shelf anymore. They are a beauty tech company now. They offer AI-powered tools that let you try on makeup virtually or diagnose your own skin. They're partnering with tech giants like IBM and NVIDIA to use AI to invent new formulas. It's a fundamental shift in how they do business.
And this is why it is so incredibly hard to compete with them. Just look at these numbers. Over €1 billion in R&D, nearly 700 patents filed in a single year, over 4,000 scientists on staff. This isn't just a marketing budget, folks. This is a deep scientific moat that is almost impossible for any competitor to even think about crossing.
So, where does a company that has already conquered the beauty world go next? Well, they're starting to look beyond traditional cosmetics to a new and honestly even more ambitious frontier.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting. L'Oréal is moving into longevity science. They're not just happy with covering up the visible signs of aging anymore. They're aiming to target the biological mechanisms of aging itself,
at a cellular level. This is a huge leap from cosmetics into health and biotech. You can see their playbook for the future taking shape. They are doubling down on AI to create products, expanding like crazy into emerging markets to find their next billion consumers, and making enormous deals, like the one for Gucci and Balenciaga's beauty lines, to make sure they dominate luxury. They are building the foundation for the next 100 years.
Which leaves us with this one last and really crucial question. As L'Oréal moves from anti-wrinkle creams to trying to influence our cellular health, the lines start to get really blurry. At what point does a cosmetics giant become a biotech firm? And when that happens, who regulates it? It's something to think about, because the answer could reshape not just the beauty industry, but our whole approach to health itself.